Hello everyone, welcome back to the data science program. So in previous video we have discussed how function executes in memory, and we have discussed how function scope is created and how global scope is created where the program executes. So we are going to use the same concept in today's video, and whatever we have discussed in the previous video we are going to use that same concept. So if you have not watched that video, you can go through that video, it will help you a lot. So in this video what we are going to study, we are going to study about the local variable versus the global variable, and this really important. So you should have proper understanding how local variable are created and how global variables are created, and what is the difference between these two. So what I will do is I will take you guys to the pythontutor.com. So I have written few small functions, and what I will do is I will show you guys how those functions are getting executed and what is the difference between local and global variables. So I will take you guys to the Colab notebook. So I've written few examples. So what I will do is I will simply copy this, and I'll come back to this Python tutor and I will paste it over here. So now I will show you guys how this code is getting executed and how we are using global and local variables. So I will click on this visualize execution, and see whenever Python finds this def keyword, it knows there is a function. So we have a function by the name of g here. So it skips and it jumps and it comes to this point, x equals to 5. If I click on next, it will come to this point, x equals to 5. At this point we have a global frame created. And if I click on next, it will create a global variable by the name of x equals to 5. So if I click on next, the global variable is created, and this global variable is created inside this global frame. And now we will call the function. If I click on next, we will call the function and it will go back to this first line, def g void. And at this point, because while calling g we have passed x, and we already have x in the global as the global variable, and the value was 5. So we have passed this 5 to this y, and in the function now we have created the function frame, and in this function we have a variable y and the value is 5. So the thing to remember here is the variable which is created inside global frame is known as global variable, and the variable which is created inside function scope function frame is known as local variable. So it has come to this point. So now if I click on next, it will ask us to print x, but the thing to remember here is we don't have a variable in the in this function frame here. We don't have a local variable by the name of x. So what we can print here, we have a variable in the global frame, we have a global variable by the name of x, but inside this function only it's asking us to print x. But inside, we already know inside functions we create local variables, but here we don't have a local variable by the name of x, but it's asking us to print x. So what we should print? So the thing to remember here is if you don't have a local variable, you can use global variable. So if there is no x in the local in the function frame, so it can use global variable. So if I click on next, so it will ask us to print x. If I click on next, 5 will be printed. So 5 is printed, and from where this 5 is coming? This 5 is coming from this global variable. So always remember one thing, whenever you don't have global variable and it's asking us to print, so what you can understand from this, local variable can use global variable, but the opposite is not true. Global variable cannot use local variable. So now it's asking us to print x plus 1. So if I click on next, 1 will be added to this 5 and 6 will be printed. So 6 is printed, and because it's not returning anything, it's returning none. And if I click on next, because this none, this return value is not received by anyone, so this is destroyed. And when the function work is over, the function variable is also destroyed. So in the previous video only we have discussed what is the lifespan of a what are the lifespan of the variables inside function. So when you call the function till you return, that is the lifespan of a variable inside function. So that's about this problem, and it's asking us to print x, and we have printed x. So if I click on next, it's asking us to print x, and since this x is coming from this global variable, we have printed 5. So initially this 5 was coming from this global variable, then we have incremented 1, and after that it's asking us to print global variable x, and the value was 5. So that's about this problem. And now what I will do is I will come back to this second problem, and I will copy this and I will paste this. So now we have one more problem. So similarly, I will click on visualize execution, and see, Python interpreter finds this def keyword. It knows there is a function. It will jump, it will skip this part, it will come to this part. At this point we will have a global frame, and if I click on next, global variable is created by the name of x equals to 5. Now we are calling the function, we are passing x, so this 5 is passed to this y. So if I click on next, function scope is created, and the value of y is coming from this x, so y value is 5. And now in this problem we have x equals to 1. In the previous problem we didn't have any local variable by the name of x, but here we have a local variable by the name of x. And the thing to remember here is we have a global variable by the name of x. So what you can understand from this, so local, you can have local variable and global variable, and those two variables can share the same name. So we have we have a variable by the name of x in the local scope, and in the function scope also we have in the function scope we have x, and in the global scope also we have x. So local variable and global variable both are sharing the same name. So but here if I click on next, it will keep x equals to 1. So if I click on next, it's asking us to increment x by 1. So here x equals to 2, and now it's asking us to print, so it's asking us to print x. So if I click on next, 2 will be printed. 2 is printed. Why 5 is not printed like we did in the previous problem? Because in previous problem we didn't have a local variable. Here we have a local variable, so we are not using global variable, because we have local variable, and inside this function only we are using this local variable. So we are printing 2. And then if I click on next, it's asking us to print x, and because this x is coming from this global variable, 5 will be printed. The 5 is printed, and because it was not returning anything, see, if I come back, see, because it's not returning anything, so it will return none, and this none is not received by anyone, so it will destroy. So that's about this problem. And now I will come back to one more problem. We have one more, and now I will come to this, and I will paste it over here. So see here, if I click on visualize execution, so if I will click on this visualize execution, see, Python interpreter finds def hy. So there is a function by the name of h, so it knows there is a function, so it will jump, and it will come to this point, x equals to 5. We have global frame, value is 5. See, we have x equals to 5, and now we have called the function, and we have passed x to this y value is 5. We have a function scope created, and we have a local variable y, and we have a global variable x. So now see, now in the next step it's asking us to increment x by 1. But see, the problem here is we don't have a variable by the name of x in the function scope, so we don't have a local variable by the name of x. So in the first problem what we have seen, if there we don't have a local variable, and but still we can use the global variable. We have global variable by the name of x, but if I click on next and if I click, see, we are getting error. Why we are getting this error? Because whenever there is a whenever we are using the global variable, we can use the global variable, but we cannot do changes to it. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to change the value of x here. See, we are trying to change the value of x. So we are trying to change the global variable, but we can use the global variable, but we cannot we can use the global variable, but we cannot do changes to it. So that's the thing to remember here. In this problem we will get error. So in this problem we will get error. So what I will do is if I execute this piece of code, we will get error. See, we will get error here. See, I've written this: local can use global variable, but it cannot do changes to it, and global variable, that's why we get error here. So see, we are getting error here because we are trying to change the global variable. But what if I tell you, still we can, Python has given us this facility to change do changes to global variable. We actually in you should not do changes to global variable, but still if you want, if you are in need of changing the global variable, Python has given you this facility to change global variable. So in the next problem I will show you guys how we can do that. See, I will copy this. What you can do is, if you, here we are trying to change x global variable, what you can do is you can use global x, and then Python will understand that okay, you are trying to change global x. So if I come here, okay, I will delete this and I will copy this, and if I come here, if I paste this, so previously what we were doing is we were not using this global, instead we were using only this piece of code, but we are trying to change x, which is the global variable, so you cannot do. So what we can do, we can use global and we can use x, then Python will understand okay, you are trying to change global x, and then if you try to execute this piece of code, you will not get error. Okay, there is some error, I think there is some indentation error. So what I will do is I will come back, I will copy this, copy, and I will come and I will paste it over here. And now if I click on visualize execution, see, we are using this, if I click on next, we have come to this point. Why I am getting this? See, we have come to this x equals to 5 global frame, and then if I come, we have called this x and we have passed x equals to 5, and this 5 will be passed to this y, and now we have incremented 1 because we have used global x. So whenever you are in a need of changing the global variable, you have to use this syntax, whichever variable you are using, you have to use its name, and before that you have to use global keyword. So now we have incremented 1 and we have printed x. So we have used 5 and we have incremented 5 by 1, so we are getting 6 as the output. So I have to close this. See, I will use show this from the beginning. So Python interpreter finds def keyword, it knows there is a function, it jumps, it comes to this point, x equals to 5, we have global frame created, global variable value is 5, and then we have called this function h, and we have passed x equals to 5, this x is passed to this y, so we have a local variable by the name of y, value is 5, and then we have used global x keyword, and we have incremented, we have done changes to the global variable, and then we have printed x, so the value is going to be 6. So that's about this problem, and then we have I think we are done with this topic. Yeah, we have done this, we are done with this topic. So what I have done is I have written few theory I have written some theory. So what you can what I will do is I will share this code with you guys in the description area, and you guys can go through this theory part, and this just if you go through this theory, it will help you for logic building. See, I've written everything. Local variables are created under function scope. Local variables are shown only under functions. Main program cannot use local variable, but local variable can use global variable, which I have already discussed. So I've written all this, and now we will see nested function. So we already know when there is a function inside a function, that is known as nested function. So what I will do is I will create one function I. I've created one function I, and inside this function we have one more function. Let's say we have j, and inside this we are printing inside j, we are printing inside j, and then we are calling j, and after that we are print inside I. So, and then we will call this outer function, we will call I. So see, we have two functions here. We have outer function I, and inside this outer function I we have one more inner function, which is j. Inside this j we are printing inside j, and then so what will happen is whenever Python interpreter will find this difficult word, it knows there is a function, so it will come to this point and it will call the function. So when it calls the function, it will come back to this point, and then it will execute this piece of code. So it will see there is one more function, def j. So when it will see this function, so it will come to this point and it will call this j, and then it will print inside j, and then it will print inside I. So if I click, first it will print inside j, then it will print inside I. So see, inside, first it is printing inside j, and then it's printing inside I. So still I will show you guys this code in Python tutor. So I will show you guys inside Python tutor only. See, I will click on this, and see, Python finds this def, it comes to this point, it will call I, global frame created, and then it will come back to this, and then it will come to this def j. It knows there is one more function, so it will call this function j. So it has called this j function, so now it will come back to this j, and it will print inside j, and then it will print inside I. See, inside j is printed, and then inside I. So now if I click next, it will print inside I. So rest everything is the same. The function scope is destroyed, functions variables are also destroyed. So that's about this, and now we will see one more example, same examples like this only. So what I will do is I will simply copy this only, and I will paste it over here, and just imagine if I'm calling I here, so now if you just think of this small function, just think of that output which you are going to get. So just imagine which output you will be getting. So initially we have called I, so it will come to this point, and then it will come back to this, and then it will call def j, and then if j is called, it will come to this, and j is called, and it will print inside j, and then again it will call I function. So if again I is called, again it will come back to this, again it will come back to this, again it will come back to this, again it will come back to this. So only this line will be executed and not this line. So what will happen here is if I execute this piece of code, we will get only inside j till infinite. We will get infinite number of times inside j as the output, and eventually we will cross the limit. We are going to cross the limit, so maximum limit will be exceeded. So if I run this piece of code, see, we are getting inside j, inside j, inside j, and maximum limit will be crossed, and we will get error at last. I think there is some issue with the internet. See, we were getting the same, see, we are getting same output, and finally we will get maximum recursion depth exceeded. So we are only getting this output, so Python knows, okay, it will keep on getting the same output, so maximum limit has crossed. So what I will do is, at last I will show you guys in Python tutor only. Okay, I will copy this, and I will show you guys in Python tutor only. Copy this, come back to this Python tutor, and I will paste this code. Okay, I'll paste this code here. I will click on visualize execution, and see, Python knows there is a function I, so it will call I. It will come back to this point, global frame created, and now it will come back to this I. Again it will come back to this I, and then it will come to this def j. It knows there is one more function, so now it will call j. It will call j, and now it will come back to this. It will come back to this, and now whatever inside this j, it will be that will be printed. So inside j will be printed, but after this again we are calling I. So whatever we have done till now, that is going to be repeated. Right, click on next. This will be printed. See, inside j is printed. Now we are calling I. Again we are coming back to this. Again we are coming back to this. Again we are coming back to this, and then again we are printing this. So this will be repeated infinite number of times. See, we are going to j, we are calling j, again we are coming back to this, again we are printing inside j, again we are calling I, again we are going to def I, again we are going to def j, again we are calling j, again we are coming to def j, and again we are printing inside j. So if you keep on repeating this step, same steps will be repeated infinite number of times, so this will not end. So that's about this problem, and I have written theory also. You can go through this. So this that's about this local variable versus the global variable. So what I will suggest you guys is, if you have not seen the previous video, you just go through that previous video. In the previous video I have discussed how functions are executed in memory, and we have used this concept only. So if you are directly watching this video, just go and watch that previous video, so that will help you a lot. So that's about this video. Thank you for watching.